Hey everyone, Paul here from Free You Now, and this is Driving with Paul, episode number 3. I'm here with my dog Eddie. Actually, he really likes going for car rides, so I decided to bring him along again. And yeah, I'm testing out a new GoPro mount that I just got a couple days ago. The previous one that I had was it was the one that GoPro actually makes. The challenge with it was, I mean, it attaches to the windshield fairly well, but the problem was that it doesn't give you the ability to twist the camera. Like if you have it mounted on the windshield, it doesn't give you the ability to twist the camera this way or that way. So if you've seen the first 2 videos that I did, the camera's kind of pointed straight that way, so you're kind of looking at the front windshield more, and I'm kind of almost out of frame. So I don't know why they did that. It's kind of weird. I found one on Amazon that I forgot what the name of it is, but I'll put the link below this video for anybody if you guys want to order it or something like that on Amazon. I got it on Amazon, and it was actually cheaper than the GoPro one. And this one has the ability to mount to the windshield the same way as the GoPro one, but it has the ability, you know, to tilt the camera this way, left and right, up and down. So anyways, just trying that out for this video. And I'm also trying out an external microphone that I got plugged in just right here. So we'll see if the sound quality is better. Hey Benny, what you doing, buddy? Okay, go sit down. So in this video, what I wanted to talk about is this, I had this realization the other day related to weight loss and making money online, the correlation between the two. And what it was is basically, I'd say for probably about almost 3 years now. Well, I'd say 2 years, kind of on and off, but at least for the last 2 years, I've been trying out a bunch of different weight loss programs that focus on losing weight slowly, but like, you know, just by making small, subtle changes to your diet or to your exercise or to your activity or whatever, to basically try to lose weight that way. Because in the past, every single time I've ever lost weight, and I've done a bunch of different weight loss challenges where I've lost like 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 40 pounds in a matter of just a couple of months. So every time I've ever lost weight, it's always been following these like hardcore diets where I just go cold turkey and just focus 100% on losing weight as quickly as possible. And I've been able to lose the weight, but then of course when I stop, I kind of gain it back. So I've been trying to figure out a way to do it in a more, you know, structured kind of like, you know, just make one small change at a time type of way. And the interesting thing is, I've actually found, like if I was to rate what I would consider the level of difficulty for me to lose weight, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say that for me to lose weight using these like hardcore diets, these products and different systems that I've used to lose weight pretty quickly, I would say it's actually not that hard. Like I would say like 5 out of 10, right, on the difficulty scale. When you focus on weight loss and you just kind of like go after it, you make the decision and you just do it, it really isn't that difficult. It's like, I would say, like I said, it's like 5 out of 10 on a difficulty scale. And the funny thing is that these other systems that I've been trying to follow, you know, ways of losing weight slowly in a way, like, you know, by making a few changes here and there, I found it extremely difficult, like 10 out of 10 on the difficulty scale. Like I just can't do it. I don't even think I've lost like 5 or 10 pounds on these other systems. I've tried all kinds of different stuff, but it's like, I just can't do it. Like, to me, it's just too slow. The weight loss is too slow, and I end up giving up so quickly. And it's been boggling my mind why I've been, you know, like in the past, it's like I have this willpower to lose weight very quickly, where most people find it difficult to lose weight. And you know, I've been able to do it, And I said, you know, I don't understand why people have so much trouble losing weight. It's so easy for me. I have trouble keeping the weight off, but losing it is pretty easy, right? From my past experience. But now that I've tried these other systems where you're kind of trying to lose weight slowly, I find that it's been extremely difficult for me. And the interesting thing that I've discovered, that I've been thinking about recently is, as I'm mentoring a bunch of different people on making money online, and I talk to people and they tell me, well, okay, here's what I want to do. You know, I'm working right now full time. I don't like my job. You know, I don't like the fact that I'm away from my kids all the time. I don't have any job stability. I go to work every day. I'm wondering if I might get laid off tomorrow or fired or something, right? And what I'd love to do is I'd love to start making at least, you know, a couple $100, maybe a couple $1,000 a month online, you know, just to supplement my income, pay off some of my debts, you know, and then maybe eventually if I can get to the point where I could replace my income and be able to quit my job, that'd be awesome, right? So a lot of people tell me that as their goal for, you know, when they want to make money online, right? So they say, that's what I want, Paul, right? And, you know, I tell them, okay, well, let's start with something simple. So let's get your blog set up and, you know, let's get you started with blogging, start writing some blog posts, right? And they go through that process and they get their blog set up and, you know, maybe they write a blog post or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. And then they just kind of like fizzle out, right? Like they just kind of stop doing the work. So then I look at it and go, what, you know, what the stuff that I told them to do, it wasn't really that difficult, you know, but let me give them something even simpler. So I give them something simpler, like, you know, go set up this or go do this. And they just don't do it, right? And I look at it and I go, man, you know, there's so many different steps, right? There's like, you know, a certain number of steps you got to follow to be able to make money online or with any business really, whether it's any kind of home-based business. And, you know, these people, they want the results, but they're not even willing to put in the effort to, you know, take the first like 5 steps, right? And it's kind of been boggling my mind. Like, I don't understand, right? Why do people give up so easily? And the funny thing is as I've been listening to these people tell me their excuses, right, of why they're unable to do this or unable to do that, the interesting thing is when it comes to business, right, because I've written now, I think I'm on day 100 now of blogging every single day. So for the last 100 days straight, I've been blogging every single day. On days that, you know, I've been sick, on days that I didn't want to blog, on days where I totally forgot that I hadn't written my blog post, you know, at like 2 a.m. in the morning, I still went out and I wrote my blog post because that's the decision I made, that's what I would do. And, you know, my income has been starting to go up and up with my blog. But, you know, it's actually been kind of easy. I just made the decision, I've been doing it. And other people have been coming up with excuses why they're unable to do it, right? They tell me like, hey, yeah, you know, I didn't write my blog post today, but I'm gonna get started next Monday because, you know, this whole week's shot because I got, you know, my friends are coming in out of town and I got some things I gotta do. I have a wedding that I have to go to, or whatever excuses come up. It's like, whatever, I'll just start next week. Of course, next week, something else comes up and they don't get started that week either. Or they write 1 or 2 blog posts and they're like, well, I couldn't write a blog post tomorrow, you know, yesterday because, you know, I was just really tired and I was so exhausted. I just decided, you know, I'm going to go to sleep and I'll write 2 blog posts the next day. Well, it doesn't work that way, right? But the interesting thing is the excuses that I've been hearing from people as to why they can't build their business are the exact same excuses that I keep giving myself as to why I'm not getting started with my weight loss program, right? So it's so funny because on one hand, you know, when I hear them say these excuses with, let's say, you know, something like blogging on a daily basis, I hear the excuse, I'm like, that's a BS excuse. I mean, come on, you could still write a blog post. It's not that hard to write a blog post. I mean, you could just open up, you know, your blogging platform, you know, click create new post, put up a video, go to YouTube, find a cool video that you like that's, you know, related to your whatever your blog topic is. Grab the embed code, put it into your blog post, write a couple of sentences above the video and publish it, right? I mean, we're talking like 5 to 7 minutes, maybe 10 minutes tops, right? So you want to build you want to build a full-time income from your business, or you want to at least make, you know, some extra income with your business, and you can't even put in 10 minutes out of a 24-hour day, you know, to make that happen. I mean, come on, that's an excuse, right? When I hear people say that, it's like, oh my God, that's an excuse. But the funny thing is when I'm thinking about exercising, I'm like, okay, well, you know, I should go for a run today, or I should exercise on my bike, or you know, I should replace one of my meals with a shake, or even something as simple as taking my supplements or my vitamins. I keep making the same excuses, like, oh yeah, well, I couldn't do it. Yeah, maybe I'll start tomorrow, or oh, this whole week's kind of shot because we got, you know, this and this dinner, or we got Easter coming up, and so I'll wait until after Easter, then I'll start because it'll be easier, right? So the same excuses I'm making with weight loss, and it's so funny because I look at it and it's like it's the exact same excuse. It's just applied to a different thing. For me, it's weight loss. For other people, it's business. So I've been thinking about that. I was thinking about it yesterday. I'm like, why am I doing this? Like, why do I allow myself to have these excuses? You know, that the same excuses that other people are using in with regards to their building their business. Why do I allow that, right? Like, I've been so diligent. I've been so disciplined with my business. You know, saying no to other things, focusing on my business, getting things done that need to be done. You know, having the discipline to stick with it. Why don't, you know, if I have the discipline here, why can't I have that discipline in my with my weight loss and my health, and, you know, eating healthier and exercising and that kind of stuff, right? So I was thinking about that, and I realized yesterday that what it basically comes down to is that with my business, I know exactly what it's going to take for me to achieve the goals that I need to achieve, okay? I know it's going to take X amount of hours every single week. I know it's going to take, you know, a daily effort. You know, every single day I've got to do something to build my business, right? Like right now, I got to write at least one blog post per day. I got to market my blog, and I got to improve something on my blog or with my business by at least 1%, right? So I got to blog daily, I got to market daily, and I got to improve something. I got to, you know, add something to my business, improve some aspect of it, tweak something, right? Those are the like three things. It's not rocket science, nothing huge. Those are the three things I've been focusing on, and my business has been growing, right? So, and I know how much time and effort and energy it takes to get those things done, right? I'm 100% aware of how much effort it's going to take to put those, to get those things done, and I look at where my business is going, and I know what my goals are, and I look at where my business is going to be 2 to 3 years from now, or 3 to 5 years from now, and it's exciting for me. So I'm willing to put in that effort. I'm willing to do it, right? But when it comes to my weight loss, what I've been doing is for the last two years or so, since I've been talking to, you know, different people on these other systems, or, you know, reading some of their content, or trying out these different systems, they all kind of try to promise you that you're going to achieve something with very little effort, or almost no effort at all. You know, like I had a chat with somebody in one of the programs that I was on. I told her, like, look, the challenge that I have with weight loss is that it could take up, you know, maybe 10 to 15, maybe even 20 hours a week for me to do the things that I need to do in order for me to lose weight. Like when I've gone on the hardcore diets that I've been on, that's what it takes. It takes 10 extra hours, 15 extra hours, maybe even 20 extra hours per week for me to focus on that, because I have to go out and I have to go and get groceries more often, right? Because I'm eating more fresher food. So, you know, I want fresh produce and that kind of stuff. So I have to go out grocery shopping a little bit more every week. I have to put in 45 minutes to an hour, you know, maybe 30 minutes to an hour every single day to do some form of exercise, whether it's strength training or going for a run or whatever it is. I have to add an extra, you know, maybe half an hour to an hour per day in the 3 different meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner, or whatever, preparing those meals or making snacks or whatever, as compared to just doing what I'm doing now, which is not exercising at all, and, you know, eating whatever, you know, grabbing fast food or going out to eat, convenience foods, that kind of stuff, right? Or frozen foods, you know, heating up something from the freezer, whatever. That stuff is easier. It doesn't take up as much time. So when I've been telling people about this, what they've been trying to tell me is they said, no, Paul, you don't have to worry about that. Like, we'll show you a way where you can just make small little changes, you know, like just make a few small little changes. It's not going to take up any of your time, and you'll be able to succeed, right? And I'd be like, okay, well, if it's not going to take up that much time, then yeah, maybe I can do it. And then I try it out, and it just doesn't work for me. And the reason it doesn't work for me is because my mind knows that the small little change, like, you know, for example, one of the programs I was on, they told me, okay, well, don't worry about it. Like, I drink soda pop, right? I drink Coke, and they're like, well, you don't have to get rid of Coke, right? Like, every diet that I've been on where I lose weight fast, I get rid of all pop. I get rid of all sugar drinks and stuff like that. I just drink water, that's it. But they told me, no, you don't have to do that. All you do is just cut back a little bit, right? So if you're drinking, like, you know, 1 or 2 Cokes a day, right, which is, let's say, I don't know, 14 Cokes a week, let's say, well, cut it down to like 10 Cokes a week, right? And that doesn't take up any extra time. You just, you know, replace it with water or whatever. And I tried doing that. It doesn't do anything, because what I end up doing is I'll drink 10 Cokes instead of 14, or I'll drink 5 Cokes instead of 14. But then I'm still missing that sugar in my diet, you know, and I'm missing that caffeine kick that I was getting from the Cokes before. So what I end up doing is I end up getting another drink that has caffeine or sugar in it, or I'll drink tea with sugar in it or something, or coffee or whatever, something that has caffeine and sugar in it to replace the Cokes that I'm not drinking anymore, because I'm still at this point, or at that point, I'm still addicted to the sugar and the caffeine kick, right? Whereas when I go on my diets, what I usually do is I go hardcore. I stop drinking sugar at all. I stop eating sugar completely. And for the first like 1 or 2 days, I go through like withdrawal symptoms where I get headaches and stuff like that. And then it's gone. All the cravings are gone. I don't crave drinking Coke anymore after that. But when you do it slowly, it's almost like, I mean, I've never done heroin, so I don't know exactly how it feels, but I can imagine people who are like addicted to heroin trying to get off of heroin slowly. It must be killer, right? Like, I could see it being way easier. I mean, it's definitely harder at first, for the first couple of days or whatever, but you go through those withdrawal symptoms, and after that, you're done. You're not addicted to it anymore. You don't have that craving for it. It's the same thing with Coke and sugar and that kind of stuff. I found that whenever I've gone on diets, I can get rid of that really quickly within 2 or 3 days, and then I don't have to worry about it anymore, right? So, but doing it slowly I find it difficult, more difficult, right? So, anyways, as I've gone through these programs, they told me, you know, you don't have to put in this time, you don't have to put in this effort, and you could just, you know, make small changes and you'll see results anyways. And I tried it, I didn't get results, and it actually got to the point where I would set something, like my goal would be something like, okay, all I'm going to do this week is I'm just going to make sure that I take my vitamins and my supplements every single day, which takes like 15 seconds, okay? And that's all I'm going to do, just one small change. And after like day 3, I stopped doing it, right? And then I sit there and go, why the heck can I not even do something as simple as that? And the reason is because in my mind, my mind's already projecting. It's like, okay, my mind's thinking, we know where this is going. The first step is, yeah, take your supplements, whatever. But at the end of the day, within a month or 2, you're going to be investing 10 to 20 hours a week into your health regimen if you keep going down this path. So we're just going to end it right here. We're just going to get you to stop. We're not even going to let you take these supplements, right? And you're essentially fighting your mind, because your mind knows where you're going with this, right? And it projects this, you know, and in fact, your mind might start thinking, well, it's going to take 30, 40, maybe it'll take up all of your time doing exercise and eating healthy, right? And we're not willing to do that, so we're not even going to let you get started, right? And I think it's the same thing with business. A lot of people are unable to even take the smallest steps with their blogs or with their businesses, because in their mind, it's projecting this huge thing like, oh my God, if we go down this path, yeah, Paul said to just maybe write one blog post or do this little simple task. But if we go down this path, if we get that done, he's going to give me more stuff to do. And if we keep going down this path, it's going to take over our whole life, and we're going to have to invest like 100 hours a week to building our business, right? Which is not true, but that's just where your mind goes. The same way that my mind goes into the exact same spot when it comes to health and fitness, right? Now, and the reason for that is because we're trying to tell our mind a lie. We're trying to tell our mind a fantasy, and the fantasy with my weight loss is the fantasy that people have been trying to sell me with these different systems, that, hey, look, it's simple. You just make a couple of small changes. You don't have to invest any time or energy or effort on your part, and you'll lose all this weight, right? And my mind is smart enough to know that's a pile of BS, right? It's not going to work if you do that. You got to make a full-time, you know, lifestyle change in every area of your life if you expect to make, you know, progress, right? So it's been fighting me on that because it's like, well, that's a lie. So what is the truth? And my mind just kind of projects and inflates this figure of believing that it's going to take, you know, 100 hours a week or something to do something like that, right? So the same thing with your business, right? If you're trying to tell your mind that, look, you can build your business in 5 minutes a day, it's a lie. It's not going to believe you, right? So it's better to be honest. So with weight loss, what I did is I sat down, I actually calculated it out, right? I figured out the time frames, and I kind of estimated that it's going to take somewhere between 10 to 20 hours every single week that I have to invest into my health in order for me to achieve the goals that I want to achieve with my health, right? And you know, at first when I did that, I thought to myself, holy crap, that's a lot of time, right? Because that time has to come from somewhere, right? You know, I'm gonna have to cut back on certain things, maybe in my social life or some activities or hobbies, or even take time away from my my business, right? To be able to invest that time into getting healthy, right? And at first, my mind was like, well, that's a lot of time to invest, right? I don't know if we're willing to do that. But then when I sat down, I said, okay, well, hold on a second. Let's say I did do that. Let's say I invested 10 to 20 hours. I blocked out 10 to 20 hours throughout the week to focus on my health. And I asked myself, well, where would I be 2 to 3 years from now, or 3 to 5 years from now? Let's say 3 to 5 years. Let's say, or 2 to 5 years. Where would I be 2 to 5 years from now if I don't do this, if I don't block out that time? Where am I going to be with my business, right? And I kind of projected in my mind, okay, here's where I'm going to be with my business. 3 to 5 years from now, I know where I'll be. And then I asked myself, okay, well, if I don't do this, if I don't invest that 10 to 20 hours a week into my health, where am I going to be 3 to 5 years from now with my health? And the way that my weight's been going up, you know, I estimated that right now I'm at about 245 pounds. And I'm, you know, my projections show that I could potentially be all the way up to 275, all the way up to maybe even 300 pounds if I don't make any changes right now. If I just continue doing what I'm doing, which is just eating and doing whatever, and not focusing at all on my health at all, like nothing. I haven't done any exercise, nothing. So if I keep things going the way that they are, yes, my business is going to reach a certain level, right, which I'll be happy with, and I'm going to accomplish certain things. But 3 to 5 years from now, I'll be somewhere between 275 to 300 pounds, right? Let's just say 275. And then I ask myself, okay, let's say that I do invest 10 to 20 hours a week into my health. Where will my business be then, right? And realistically, it's not going to be, it may suffer a little bit, right? Because I'm going to have to take some time away from my business and, you know, to invest back in my health. So I might not accomplish as much in the next 3 to 5 years because I'm investing that time into my health, right? Now, it might actually end up working in my favor because I might have more energy to put in my business, but I'm just saying, worst case scenario, my business is not gonna, you know, maybe I'll make 25% less money with my business by doing that, okay? But then the next question I ask myself is, okay, well, if I do that, what about my health? Where am I going to be at 3 to 5 years from now if I do invest 10 to 20 hours in my health and fitness, right? And realistically, based on my past experience with weight loss and what I've done, I'll probably be able to hit, you know, bring my weight down from 245 down to at least 175. And now I might put on some extra muscle if I work out and do strength training. I might put on muscle, so I might go up from there. But assuming, you know, not putting on any muscle, I know I'll be able to hit at least 175 pounds, if not less than that, because I've done that before in like, you know, I've lost like 40 pounds in a few months. So, you know, 2 to 3 years or 3 to 5 years, I see that as a totally achievable goal if I'm investing 10 to 20 hours a week into my health, right? So the decision I have to look at is, okay, do I, you know, 3 to 5 years from now, do I want to weigh 275 pounds, have very little energy, probably be, you know, be getting sick more often, and, you know, I might even at that point manifest some, you know, disease or something, because of the excess weight that I'm carrying? Or would I prefer to be at 175? My business might suffer a little bit. My social life might suffer a little bit because I'll be focusing on my health and, exercise and whatever. Now, again, I'm speaking in worst case scenario here because those things might also improve, right? But worst case scenario, those two things suffer, but my health improves, right? And when I looked at it that way and I said, you know what? It's worth it. It's worth it for me to invest 10 to 20 hours, even though I know it's going to take away time from my business, even though I know my business might grow a little bit slower, even though I know it might take away from some of my social activities or from some of my hobbies. It's worth it for me to invest that time into my health because my health is important to me. See, when I did it that way, as soon as I thought that in my mind, it's like my mind wanted to get started on, on exercising and getting fit right away, right? In fact, I bought an exercise bike like 3 months ago and it's been sitting there collecting dust. And yesterday was the first time I actually jumped on the bike and started using it, like right away. Like as soon as I made that decision, it was just like, hey, I want to get going, right? And I've already started, I ordered some supplements. I'm getting started with a health program right now. I'm working on that right now. So it's like, I just want to go at it. I want to go after it. Because what I did is I was realistic with myself. And instead of trying to, imagine this fantasy where I'm going to get healthy and lose weight and get fit without putting in any effort into it, now I'm being realistic and saying, look, this is going to take time away from my business. It's going to take away time from my social life. It's going to take away time from my fun and relaxation time and hobbies or whatever it is. Because that 10 to 20 hours a week is going to have to come from somewhere, right? But it's going to be worth it. And it's the same thing with your business, right? If you want to make money online, right, you have to realize it's going to take, it could take 5, 10, 15, 20 hours a week, right? If you want to go really hardcore, it might even take more than that, right? But if you're working full time and you just want to build up an income part time, you got to be prepared to invest 10 to 20 hours a week into this, right? Maybe a couple hours, maybe an hour every single day, right? Or 45 minutes every single day, and maybe 4 to 6 hours on one of the days on the weekend, like a Saturday or a Sunday, right? I mean, depending what your goals are, right? It all depends what your goals are, but I would say minimum 6 to 10 hours a week, minimum, right? If you're not willing to put 6 to 10 hours a week into your business, it's not going to be easy for you to build an income online, right? Well, I don't care what you're doing, whether it's affiliate marketing, blogging, and I'm not even saying online. I shouldn't say online. I should say in any home-based business, right? I don't care if you're in a network marketing company, an MLM, if you're building a business, blogging or affiliate marketing, whatever it is that you're trying to do, if you're not willing to put in at least 6 to 10 hours a week into your business, then your results are going to be very, very, it's going to take a long time for you to make any money, right? But you have to ask yourself, if you're going to be putting in, what if you did put in that 10 to 20 hours a week, or 6 to 10 hours a week, or 15 hours a week, whatever your number is, right? Let's say you did put in 10 to 20 hours a week. Well, where is that time going to come from, right? What are you going to have to give up? You might have to give up some things. You might have to give up your Netflix time, right? You might have to give up watching movies. You might have to, instead of going to 4 movies a month, you might have to go to 1 movie a month, right? Instead of attending every single party that you get invited to, you might have to say no to 50% of the parties you get invited to, right? Your social life might have to suffer a little bit, right? Instead of watching sports. I mean, a lot of people tell me, oh, I don't have time, I'm so busy because I got kids and all this stuff. And, I asked them what their favorite sports team is, and it's like, oh, it's, such and such team. And they watched every single game on TV, right? Well, most sports teams, they play like 80 to 100 games a season, right? Say hockey, it's like, I think, 84, 85 games a season. 85 games, most people spend 3 hours, to watch a game. The game might be a couple hours, but they spend half an hour before preparing for it, half an hour after, and then they talk about the game the next day at at work or whatever. I mean, most people are putting, let's say, 2 to 4 hours, let's say 3 hours per game times 83 games. That's 250 hours, right? But they say, oh, I don't have time for my business. Look, if you want to build an income online or any kind of home-based business, you're going to have to find time, and you're going to have to make some sacrifices to make it work, right? You're going to have to be realistic. You okay, buddy? You're going to have to be realistic with you know, with your expectations, right? You might have to cut back some of the time that you say you're spending with your kids, right? Because I love that excuse a lot of people have. People with kids like, oh yeah, I'm spending time with my kids. No, I don't have time today because I'm spending time with my kids. And what's really happening is they're sitting there watching TV and their kids are sitting there, you know, in their room playing video games. Well, you're not really spending time with your kids. You could just as easily be sitting on your computer and, you know, working on your business, right? And who says you can't teach your kids about entrepreneurship? Why don't you spend time with your kids teaching them about entrepreneurship, right? I mean, if you're building a business online and you're learning about marketing techniques, or you're learning about blogging, or you're learning about whatever it may be, why not spend time with your kids and show them how to do that, right? And teach them about entrepreneurship, and teach them that, you know, what you're doing, and show them what you're doing, right? Take some time. You know, you might have to cut back on a little bit of your time, you know, this so-called spending time with my kids time, to do that, you know, to focus on your business. It's not going to happen, you know, with no effort at all, right? So you got to decide, right? What are you willing to cut back? And, you know, for some people who are kind of the opposite of where I'm at, some people are ultra fit, right? And they say, oh, they don't have time to work on their business, but they're like, you know, participating in like 50 marathons a month or something, right? They're always doing fitness or whatever it is. Well, what would happen if you cut back your exercise regimen from, let's say, you know, 3 hours a day to an hour a day? Would it really suffer that much? Right? I mean, it's up to you. You got to decide, right? I'm pulling time away from my business so that I can invest into my health. You might need to cut back some time from all the different activities and sports and things that you're doing, because a lot of it is, you know, there's a certain point you reach with your fitness where, you know, any further exercise doesn't really do that much, right? You might enjoy it, it might be fun for you, but it doesn't really produce that much of a bigger result, unless you're, you know, focusing on training for some kind of event or whatever, right? But my point is you got to find that time somewhere. So it's either going to come out of your Netflix watching time, TV watching time, maybe some time spending with your kids. Might have to come out of your social schedule. You might have to cut back on your sleep. If you're sleeping 8 hours a day right now, you might have to cut that back to 7 hours a day, right? You might have to, you know, train yourself to not need to sleep that much, right? The point is, though, that time has to come from somewhere. You have to be willing to do that. But what is it going to get you, right? Because that's really what it comes down to, is you're not going to invest the time, you're not going to put the effort into it if you don't think it's going to get you anywhere, if you don't think it's going to produce a result, if it's not going to give a benefit to you in your life. So what you have to ask yourself is, if you're that person that I described before, where you're stuck in a dead-end job that you don't like, right? And you hate going to work. I mean, you're investing, let's say, 8 to 10 hours a day, you know, working and getting to work, to and from work, right? Let's say 9 hours a day. 9 hours a day times 5 days a week. That's 45 hours a day, a week, right? If you're putting in 45 hours a week, that's time that you're spending away from your kids because you're at work, right? If you had a home-based business that was working, you know, that was making you that money full time, you might be able to accomplish all your business, you know, goals and everything in 30 hours a week, or even 25 hours a week. So technically you'll have more time for your kids once you reach that point. But in the beginning, you might have to double up. You might have to work your full-time job to make the income that you need to make to pay your bills. And then you might have to invest some time part-time after work, right, on evenings and weekends, right, for a period of time, 2 to 3 years, maybe 3 to 5 years, right? And, you know, for you to get to that point where, first of all, you can augment your income, and secondly, maybe even replace your income and be able to quit your job and not have to worry about getting laid off, and not have to worry about getting fired, right, for some stupid reason, and not having to worry about, you know, the fact that, hey, you get sick one day and your boss says, oh, you're not allowed to be sick. What do you mean you're not allowed to be sick? What the heck is that, right? Or your kid has some, you know, tournament or some sporting event or some, you know, a play at school or some event that they would really like you to be at, but you can't be there because you have to work full time, right? Like, that's one of the benefits of being able to work from home, be your own boss and make money online and make money from home, is that once you reach a certain level, you can actually get to the point where If I need to take a day off tomorrow, if I need to go somewhere, I just go, right? I mean, there are certain things I need to set up to make sure that things that need to be done get done. But if I want to take a day off, I can take a day off. Now you might be saying, yeah, but Paul, you said that you write a blog post every single day. You know what? I can actually take time off from that, because what I can do is I can write 10 blog posts, right? And put them all into draft mode. And using the blogging platform that I'm using, I can set it up in a way where the blog posts are actually released on a daily basis, one a day, every single day. So I could technically write 10 blog posts and then set them to publish on a specific day, 10 days in a row, and I can go on vacation for 10 days, and my business, my business would still think, like, people would still think that I'm there writing those blog posts every single day, right? So these are some of the things. You can't really do that at a job. You can't, like, preload your work and then take time off in a way. You can't, like, create a virtual version, like clone yourself or something like that, and pretend like you're at work when you're not really there, right? It doesn't work with jobs. So what you got to do is you got to sit down and you got to write down, get clear on what it is, what are the benefits that you could have from a home-based business, right? And get clear on what's driving you nuts about your job. And ask yourself, if you don't do this, if you don't spend, if you don't invest that 10 hours a week or 15 hours a week or 20 hours a week right now into building your business, right? Every single week until you build this thing up. If you don't do that, what's your life going to look like 3 to 5 years from now, right? You're still going to be stuck in that job if you even have that job. You might get laid off, you might be on unemployment or something, right? But even if you aren't, you're still going to be stuck at that job. How much money are you realistically going to be making? Do you really think you're going to get a raise? Maybe you will. How much of a raise are you going to make? Is it going to keep up with inflation? Or is it just going to be harder and harder for you to make ends meet? Where are you going to be 3 to 5 years from now if you don't do this? If you don't make the decision to invest time into building your own business, right? And what about 7 years from now or 10 years from now? Are you saving enough money right now for retirement? Are you ever going to be able to retire with the job income that you have? These are the kind of questions you got to ask yourself and get real with it, right? Like, make a decision. Because if you're thinking, well, right now I don't really have a lot of time, my life is busy and I got to spend time with my kids and I got to, I got these social events that I got to, I have to learn to say no, right? Like, that's what people do. You got to make a decision. What's important to you in your life? And hey, if you're happy with your job, if you're happy with your job income, you feel totally safe at your work, you have no desire to quit ever, you have no fear of, getting fired, you're making enough money to make ends meet and, to pay for everything and, pay down your debts or pay off your debts, and you're completely debt free, and you don't really have a desire to build a business because, frankly, you have everything that you need on the career side, then don't waste your time trying to build a business online, right? Like, unless it's something that you enjoy doing. If those are things that, are not important to you, if you don't have that drive inside you, it's not going to work. It's the same thing for me. If I sat down and I asked myself, look, am I happy with my current weight, right? Am I happy with where my weight is going and, where my health is and my energy levels? If I answered yes, I'm happy. I have lots of energy. I'm healthy. I'm happy with my weight. I have no desire to lose any weight. I have no desire to get in better shape. I have no desire to get any healthier. I'm perfectly fine where I'm at. Then I wouldn't waste my time investing 10 to 20 hours a week into my health and fitness regimen. Does that make sense? So look at it the same way with your business, right? Ask yourself those kinds of questions and see where you're at. Because, frankly, if you joined a business or you're trying to make money online, but you have no real desire to do so because you're comfortable right now in your life and you're happy at your job and all that stuff, then it's never going to work and you're just wasting your time and you're just, it's kind of pointless, right? If you're like, well, I want to make money online, but I'm not willing to put any time into it, maybe an hour a week. Come on, man, you're not going to build a business in an hour a week, right? That's a fantasy. No more than I'll be able to, lose weight and get fit and get, in tip-top physical shape by investing 1 hour a week into my fitness regimen. I mean, it's just Is it going to do anything if I did that? Yeah, well, it's 1 hour is better than nothing. But really, what am I going to accomplish in an hour, a week? I mean, come on. What's that? I mean, that's enough time to maybe go grocery shopping or something. But if I'm not putting in any time into actually preparing the meals and eating the meals and exercising and all that stuff, I'm not really going to get anywhere, am I? Right? So anyways, that's pretty much all I wanted to cover in this video. I just wanted to, it came to me, I just had this realization that, man, this is so similar. Weight loss, fitness, health, and building a business online, so many similarities. And the excuses that I've been hearing from people are the same excuses that I've been making on the health and fitness side. And I was wondering, like, why am I doing that? Like, why is it so hard for me to make that commitment and to actually do what I need to do, that I know I need to do in order for me to lose the weight and get fit and get in shape? And what it basically came down to is that I was living in a fantasy. I was not being realistic with myself and, giving myself a realistic picture of what it's going to take time-wise and energy-wise, what kind of investment it's going to take for me to achieve the goals that I want to achieve. And I think the same thing applies to what people are doing with their online businesses, is that they're not being realistic. They join a network marketing company or an MLM, or they start an online business system, or they join Empower Network or whatever it is. And they join because they want to make more money, they want to make an extra income, they want to pay off their debts, they want to be able to retire from their job at some point, or maybe they just want to make an extra $2,000 or $3,000 a month, or maybe they just want to make an extra $500 a month so they can get their car payment taken care of. Whatever it is, they have a desire, but then their mind takes over and says, well, yeah, I want all those things, but I'm not willing to cut back on Netflix time. My favorite series, they just released season 7 or whatever. So they don't want to cut back on their TV time. They don't want to come back on their family time. They don't want to come back on their social time. They don't want to come back on their, hey, I got to watch my sports team play time. They don't want to come back on any of those activities, but they want the results. Well, that doesn't work that way. You have to invest, the time and energy has to come from somewhere, right? So that's pretty much all I wanted to cover in this video. Ask yourself that question. Is it worth it for you? Where are you going to be? What is it that you want from your business? And are you willing to put in that 6 to 10 hours a week, or that 10 to 12 hours a week, or that 12 to 15 hours a week, or 20 hours a week, whatever it is? What are you willing to invest into your business to achieve the goals that you want to achieve? And if that number is 0, if you're not willing to invest anything, then don't even waste your time. Just ask yourself if realistically, what are you willing to put into this? And if you're not willing to sacrifice 5 or 6 hours a week, cutting back on certain things, maybe cutting back on your sleep or cutting back on family time, you're not going to get anywhere, right? If you're not even willing to put in 5 hours a week or 6 hours a week, it really is a waste of time, right? It really is a waste of time. So don't even torture yourself. Just, if you're in a business right now, just quit. There's no point. Just don't even pretend like you're building a business, because you're not. If you're not willing to put in 5 hours a week or 6 hours a week minimum, you're not building a business. You're just wasting your time. No differently than if I wasn't willing to put in, a couple hours a week or whatever into exercise, and maybe a couple hours a week into, eating healthier, I'd be wasting my time as well, right? So that's pretty much it for this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.